All right, it's time. MCC 31 full force. I'm Marcus McIntosh along with the Hurricane John Halverson. John, a packed night, featherweights, lightweights, light heavyweights, all culminating with the featherweight championship.
That's right. The final two fights of the night are going to be nothing less than exciting. We've got the first ever MCC bantamweight title on the line with young, undefeated, up-and-coming sensation Zach the Maniac Laird taking on Bill Camry. I cannot wait for that fight.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. And then in the main event of the evening, Josh Henry taking on Rick the Gladiator Glenn.
Okay.
There's been a lot of hype in the weeks leading up to the fight, a lot of trash talk back and forth, but it's going to be settled tonight in the cage.
All right, we also have Hollywood Johnny Case back in the cage, as well as the War Frog Ronnie Britt. Came out of retirement a few fights ago. He's back in there 2 fights in a row. Can't wait to see the War Frog go at it.
He's always exciting. He's got submissions, he's got punches, he's got everything in his arsenal. This guy's in his mid-40s and he's still out here banging with these young guys.
That's right.
He always brings it, and I can't wait to watch him bring it tonight.
All right, it all starts with a featherweight matchup. We're back with that and much more on MCC 31 full force in just moments. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's MCC 31 full force. I'm Marcus McIntosh with Hurricane John Halverson. John, I'm excited, can barely sit in my seat. I want to get right to the action.
Let's get going.
Our first fight, a featherweight battle, right?
In the featherweight division, first up, Joe Agan. He stands 5'10" tall. He weighed in at 145 pounds. He is a wrestler with a 2-1 mixed martial arts record, taking on Randy Meyer, also 5'9", 145-pound freestyle fighter with a 9-1 record.
And both men in the cage in black shorts right now. And we see I don't know what I'd call that. Maybe not a takedown, maybe both men going down?
Agan went for the takedown. Meyer doing a good job of keeping control. Agan's still on top there. Meyer's got a hold of his leg there, and as you can see, Agan's working for like a top crucifix position, but he's leaving that leg exposed, and Meyer doing a good job of hanging on to that. And as you see right there, able to dump him right on his butt there.
And now he's in a dominant position, having, looked like he almost had his back right there.
Yeah, back and forth. Agan maintaining a pretty good position and moving into the mount.
And that's bad news right there.
These guys, it's a lot of action for the beginning of the first round.
Now it was a reversal, a nice reversal that I just missed right there. Wow. Now we see punches coming down from the top. Not being blocked too well, but there's an attempt there. And John, when the guy on the bottom starts kicking those legs up like that, he's going for a triangle.
Okay. Now if he can shift his hips around, he can hit an arm bar. But the position that looks like he's going for there is the triangle.
And I've seen many triangles and many people go to sleep inside that cage, courtesy of TJ the Spider O'Brien. Looks like he's still trying to work that triangle, isn't he? That's why he's pulling his head down, right?
Right. To effectively sink the triangle in, you want to get the head control. What Agan wants to do, he's got the leg over, but there he's clinching it up. He wants to reach up with his free hand and pull down on that ankle. Meyer doing a good job of posturing up there and then doing exactly what he should do, stepping over with his leg and relieving that pressure off his neck.
All right, but from this position, it looks like both men are going for some. Do I see an armbar attempt right? No. It looks like he's going for something down there.
Yeah, it's basically just Meyer trying to come out the back, and now he's got an arm.
Okay. Now that looks like it hurts.
Yeah,
and that was really.
That's not a great position to be in. Agan's stretched out. Meyer he's staying in there, but Meyer's really wrenching on that arm.
And also he's trying to get him in a choke as well. That looks like looked like he was about to tap there too.
That was close. It looks like Agan's not in a good spot at all. There he reverses him, but he's still not out of danger. You see he's still got that reverse triangle on the head. He doesn't have an arm in, but it's tight nonetheless, and it's hard to see from our angle, but he had control of the arm. There his
head popped out.
He let that go. Meyer with control of that arm still.
Not letting go of that arm at all. A couple hammer fists from the top. And there we have the end of round one. We're back with round two action in just moments. Stay with us. It's MCC 31 full force here on MC 22. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not taking a break here. We're going to keep the action going. It's so fast and furious. Sorry about that, John. Here we go, second round action.
Joe Egan came right out and threw a big bomb. Meyer able to duck under that, and he's going for a takedown, gets the takedown, and immediately moves to side position.
And from side position, he looks like he's trying to work those knees and eventually try to get into the mount or take his back like he has right there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. The knees were, pretty much just a distraction to try to get him to move. And he did exactly what Meyer wanted to do. He turned the opposite way, turned away from him. Meyer able to quickly take his back, get a hook in. Now it looks like he's working for a rear naked choke.
He's got to flatten him out from this point, correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, it does help, and that's what he did right there.
And there's a tap.
Yeah, you don't have to have him flattened out. It certainly does help because it gives him less options to roll. It's a lot harder to roll when you're laying on your stomach and choked.
So our first bout is in the books. Our rear naked choke, the winner is Randy Meyer. Just one of many battles and bouts going on tonight. Featherweight division right there. Lightweight division is up next. We're back with more on MCC 31 Full Force. Stick around. We're back at MCC 31 Full Force. John, let's get right to the second bout. This one, a lightweight affair.
Andy Vissam making his mixed martial arts debut. He's 5'8". He's a wrestler. He weighed in at 155 pounds. He's taking on Jay Olson, tough as nails striker, 5'11", 155 pounds with a 1-1 mixed martial arts record.
I always like the battles with the wrestler and the fighter. See where it's going to go to the ground and where the fighter can keep it standing up, and we'll see.
Styles make fights, Marcus.
Nice straight left so far. There's Jay Olson in the white trunks, and in the black trunks you have Andy Vissam.
Olson feeling him out with the jab. I know that he's worked a lot on his striking, but you have
right with that big uppercut.
An excellent wrestler in Andy Vissam, and somebody who's been wrestling most of his life. And it's very hard to prepare for a wrestler of Andy's caliber. No matter how long you've been training mixed martial arts, when you've got a conventional wrestler against the striker, 9 times out of 10, the striker's getting put on his back.
But you would have to imagine at some point in the fight, no matter how successful the striker is, although there are a couple good leg kicks by Jay Olson and one back by Vissam, that at some point the striker will be put on his back, and that's when you really tell how he's training or what he's prepared to do, correct?
Exactly, and I'm sure that Jay's trained for that, and I'm sure he's prepared himself and put himself in the worst positions possible in practice, on his back with his training partners, landing some punches, putting him up against the fence, up against the wall, because that's exactly what he's going to get fighting Andy Vissam. And
as a striker, no matter how much you prepare for it, I can't imagine a striker is ever going to be completely comfortable on the ground, especially on his back like Jay Olson is right there.
It happens, just because it's mixed martial arts and it's not just the boxing or the kickboxing or the wrestling or the jiu-jitsu. It's a mixture of everything. So the people that train mixed martial arts today, I mean, they've seen everything. But again, Andy Vissam's in his wrestling background. He's wrestled most of his life. He's got that credentials. That's what he brings into the cage. Obviously he didn't learn to kick or punch in conventional wrestling, high school or collegiate, but nonetheless, that's his base. He's going to go to his bread and butter. And with that said, he just landed a very nice, couple strikes right to the chin of Jay Olson. Jay doing a good job of staying composed, but you can see when he was on his back, he had a hold of the leg of Andy Vissam.
That's right.
What that does is essentially frees only one of his arms up to block those punches that are coming down. Well, Vissam stands over him with 2 fists and rains down punches.
And now he's on top of him again, throwing some left hands this time. Can he get a guillotine from the position he's in right now, John? Vissam I'm talking about?
He could, but what he would have to do, it'd have to be a power guillotine because he's not under him. He'd have to basically just wrench down and kind of lift up and basically lift the whole body weight of Jay Olson. We've seen that before. We've actually seen that before when Bryce Teager fought Paul Bird for the lightweight championship and just annihilated Paul Bird and then choked him with that bully guillotine choke and basically lifted him up and forced the quick tap.
And right now we see Vissam doing some good work on the top, some left hands to the head. It looks like I don't know what he's going for here, but it's a right hand in the face, and that's got to sting as we end round 1. So, John, round one in the books. So far, I think I'd have to give it to the wrestler who's doing a little bit of the domination at this point.
Dominant round by Andy Vissam, making his MMA debut here at MCC and proving that he has trained and he's doing what it takes to make an impact in the cage.
All right, let's see how this battle continues. We go to round two of this bout between two lightweights, Andy Vissam wearing the black shorts and Jay Olson in the white. Here we go, round two. Jay Olson throwing some punches, trying to keep it up, but as I spoke earlier, you know, Vissam gets into him and takes him down, puts him on his back.
The one thing that Jay is missing here in this fight, and I noticed it in the first round when he was standing, when you're fighting a wrestler, and especially when you're fighting somebody who's a little shorter in stature, you need to match their height.
Okay, so he's standing too
Jay
straight
was
up and down.
standing too tall. You know that Vissam's game plan going into the fight is not to stand and trade with a striker. He's going to put Olson on his back, where Olson's less comfortable and where Vissam's more comfortable. So when you're fighting somebody like that, being the striker like Jay Olson, you have to anticipate that takedown and you have to match that height. You got to meet him down there. You don't want to. You stand too tall, too exposed. As soon as you commit to a punch, whether it be a lazy jab, a strong jab, or a straight right, you're going to overcommit to that punch. Vissam's going to come right underneath, grab a single or a double, and put you right on your back.
And Vissam did just that. He had Olson on his back for quite some time. They were moving around. Now you see Vissam up. A couple kicks to the legs, and Olson was on the ground, kind of just waiting for that up kick. And that's something you always have to be careful about, isn't it? That up kick, that could sting.
Absolutely, especially when you're kind of lurking over somebody, toying around with the legs. Exactly. I mean, you get too low, and that up kick's there. Jay Olson's got long legs. That's one of the tools in the arsenal that he has available to him.
From what I've seen in most of this bout, Andy Vissam on top with Olson on his back. Should Olson just come in and just lay on his back and just be prepared for what's going to happen?
Well, you know, I don't know if that's ever a good game plan, just because, you know, Vissam's not just a wrestler who's going to lay and pray.
Okay.
He's not going to ride out the clock. You can see he's very active. He's throwing a lot of punches. He's trying to advance his position.
Wow, swings by Jay Olson.
Yeah, Jay is starting to feel the desperation right now kick in. He knows that, you know, the fight's half over, and he spent most of it on his back. He's taken some damage. It looks like he's a little swollen up.
Ooh, nice left hand by Vissam. Wow. Off the miss by Olson. And then Vissam goes low again, shoots for that double leg.
Jay's on top here, and he looks like he's trying to lock up a guillotine. I can see him kind of arching his back, and so it looks like he may have a hold of Vissam's neck, but he let that go.
And then he goes back to his back.
Yeah, probably not the best thing. Before letting go, he definitely wanted to kick his legs back and kind of get some distance. He had, Vissam had both underhooks and had the hands clenched around Olson's waist, so you know it was a pretty easy takedown for Andy Vissam.
John, is this a sign of an inexperienced fighter as far as Olson goes? Because I've seen many times in other bouts where a guy's on his back and he is able to do some damage, but Olson is just hanging there holding on for the most part.
Well, they both have the same amount of fight. Well, I'm sorry, they both have about the same amount of experience.
Okay.
I mean, Jay's only been in there a couple times. This is Vissam's first fight, but he's been training for a while and he's got a lot of experience mat time wise.
Okay.
So, you know, as far as competition wise, I think it's a good matchup. It's just that Jay Olson's not employing the game plan that he needs to in this fight so far to be successful against Vissam.
All right, let's see if he can be successful in round three. Here we go. Round three action. Jay Olson is in the white shorts. Andy Vissam is in the black shorts. Round three. Here we go. Nice leg kick by Olson.
Jay kind of pawing out with that jab. I see he's lowered his level a little bit.
He listened to you.
He did listen to me. We see that a lot.
Ooh, the leg kick caught by Vissam. And looks like he's in Olson's full guard right there.
What Olson did is he kicked him, he got one back, and he says, "I'm going to give you another one." And when he did that, he got his leg caught. So he didn't fully commit to the kick, and there wasn't a lot of power. He didn't turn his hips over, you know, and that basically just gave Vissam the easy takedown.
And Olson again, I see on the bottom, he looks like he's trying for
He's going for an armbar right there.
Armbar right there, but most of it has been just kind of holding Vissam close to him to avoid getting hit and taking any punishment.
He took a couple good punches to the face in the first round. He did a pretty good job in the second round protecting that left side of his face that's a little bit swollen up, and he didn't take a lot of damage, but he did spend the majority of the time on his back nonetheless. Now, he's in a good position right here for an armbar, and he could switch it up and go for a triangle right here too. It looks like he's really committing to that. It's kind of hard to see from our angle.
Ooh, nice knee to the back from Visdom. That's going to sting.
But Visdom's able to get around to the side and relieve the pressure and move right into the side guard of Jay Olson, delivering some elbows.
And then some knees as well. This has been a pretty dominant performance as far as I'm concerned from Andy Visdom. Tough wrestler who, you know, he stood up and they exchanged some blows on their feet, and then Visdom shot in, took him down.
And to Andy Visdom's credit, I mean, he took this fight on relatively short notice. You know, he only had a few weeks to actually prepare for this bout when Olson's original opponent had to pull out. So, you know, props to him and his training camp for preparing him to get in there and compete.
All right, they're still going at it. Visdom still inside control. Olson's trying to swing out of it. And he's working his feet against the cage, trying to do something there, but Visdom seems to be holding him tough.
Yeah, he's in north-south right now, and there's definitely a choke from here. You can see Olson kind of grimacing. I don't know how much pressure he's actually putting on this choke. If he's going for that choke, it looks like you can see, Marcus, if you watch his toes, he's kind of inching his toes back. And that's the sign that he's trying to put more pressure on the choke. When the fighter will inch his way back on the north-south choke, that's exactly what he means. He's tightening that up. And you can see in the grimace in the face of Olson that it is a tight choke. He needs to get Olson's chin a little more directly underneath his armpit to make the choke effective. And with that said, it looks like time on the clock has run out, and this should be a clear-cut, unanimous decision victory for Andy Visdom.
It sure should. He dominated that battle. It was a good one right there. So we have the second fight in the books. Andy Visdom, dominant fight there. Wow. That is amazing. Andy Visdom wins the second bout of the night. We're back with more on MCC 31. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 hard-fought rounds here on the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored 27-30 by unanimous decision. Andy Visdom!
Welcome back to MCC 31 Full Force. Marcus McIntosh along with Hurricane John Halverson. John, 2 bouts in the books. Time for another lightweight battle.
Let's get right to it. First up, we've got Ty Blair, 157-pound, 5'7" striker with a perfect 4-0 record, taking on the MCC newcomer, Alan Shepard, 5'10", a 155-pound freestyle fighter with an impressive 8-1 mixed martial arts record.
All right, let's get to the action. You have Alan Shepard in the white trunks, Ty Blair in the black shorts, and let's see these men go at it. I'm hoping for a good stand-up battle here, John.
Well, they both talked in their pre-fight about wanting to use their hands. Now, I know that Ty Blair prefers to stand. He's got some he's got some knockouts on his resume. So, I mean, if he had his choice, he would definitely like to keep the fight standing. But Alan Shepard, man, this kid is tough as nails. Been in the game for a long time. Training partner of MCC champions Elvis King Machopchich, Andy Branson. Trains with Miguel Rios. The list goes on and on.
It's a good camp.
Absolutely has a great camp.
And he takes Ty Blair to his back right there. Alan Shepard on top in blue trunks. I might have said white earlier, but they are blue trunks, blue and white. Now, John, I thought Ty Blair had his legs pinned in, but wow, he got up and ate a couple punches for his trouble. Man. Nice exchange by both men. Nice left hands by
Big punches by Shepard. Shepard's in here to make a statement. He's been wanting to get in MCC for quite some time. We're glad we finally got him locked up. We're excited to have him. He brings a lot to the table. Every fight that he's involved in is exciting. I've had the opportunity to train with Alan in the past. He's one of the hardest workers in the gym. He's the first one there, and he's the last one to leave. And I think you're going to see a lot of good stuff come out of this guy.
A knee right there from Ty Blair, but Shepard hit him with a hand as well. A little spin on the cage, but now Shepard has Ty Blair pinned back against the cage.
Shepard
Good
with the
knees
tie
by
clinch. And landing some punches. Now they're landing to the arms of Ty Blair. Ty doing a good job of blocking the blunt of those knee strikes. But now he's back pressed against the cage in probably one of the less desirable positions you could ever be in a cage. And that's with your back against the cage, nowhere to go, and somebody raining down 4-ounce leather gloves in your face.
Those left hands from Shepard are coming down fast and furious right there, right on the chin. And he gets locked back up into his full guard of Ty Blair right there. Nice elbow from Shepard. Once again, Shepard on top wearing the blue and white shorts, Blair on the bottom in the black shorts. Blair doing a good job locking it. Well, he had his arms locked up for a while, then an elbow from the right came from Shepard. Man.
Yeah, he does a good job of keeping him locked up, but you'll notice as soon as he lets that go, Shepard really patient and not using a lot of energy to pull out. But when Ty Blair does let those arms go, Shepard comes right down with some punches.
And they're just coming, man, that left hand, you think he might want to block
Yeah,
that?
Blair looked like he could be out there for a second. He took about 4 or 5 right on the chin.
Those were some tough left hands, John. I think I would have went to sleep from a left hand at any point in there. Probably one of the light ones, but that's just because I'm kind of a lightweight.
Great win for Alan Shepard making his MCC debut. Like I said, look for big things to come from this kid.
All right, we're going to come back with much more on MCC 31 Full Force. Stick around. We have another bout coming your way, this time in the welterweight division. It is MCC 31 Full Force. Our next bout is in the welterweight division. And John, let's talk about the two competitors getting ready to step into the cage.
Nate Howson, 5'9", 170-pound freestyle fighter with a perfect 2-0 record, taking on Mike Graham, 5'10", 170-pound freestyle fighter with a 14-9 record.
All right, this should be another good battle as well. Both men wearing black shorts this evening.
And both men looking for the knockout punch. Watch out for this. Don't blink at home.
They're swinging too.
Because they're swinging for the fences. Howson, in his last performance, knocked out his opponent in impressive fashion. Great fight. The same can be said for Mike Graham on the same card. Mike Graham fought an undefeated fighter, knocked him out. Guess what? You got another undefeated fighter. Let's see if you can do the same thing.
That's right. Both men freestyle fighters. Both men, a big clinch right there, but big punches being thrown by both men. Wow. Looks like, is that an attempt at a guillotine there, John? I can't really tell.
It's more of a control position because Howson has him pressed against the fence with not a lot of options. Howson went for the trip. Graham doing a good job of staying on his feet and getting his back off that fence. It's not a spot that you want to be in.
Now they're separated. Let's watch him throw some more leather. Both men with kicks. Little head bump right there. And we go for a takedown. There you have it. Two freestyle fighters, one on his back, one in the top position in half guard.
You know, normally, Marcus, we talk about this all the time. Almost every show, when we put two bangers in there together, chances are they're going to prove us wrong, and it's going to go to the ground at some point. But you know what? That's the sport. That's MMA. That's what separates it from boxing or kickboxing. Is the excitement that you have and all the different options you can go to.
He's trying to. Looks like he was trying to lock in that left hook right there.
Howson riding a little high.
Yes, he is.
Not able to get his hooks in because of it. And
Graham
kind of shucking him off the side, and he's back.
He
and
tried.
Now he's not back, and now he's
He's still riding a little bit high there.
a little reminiscent of the first fight of the night with both competitors exchanging dominant positions and scrambling.
Does Howson need to roll over onto his back to get himself in a better position? Or well, it looks like
Well, he's not in
Graham slipped out.
he's not in a good position. He's going for a Kimura, but he's in half guard, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to lock that up.
Graham has some good right hands to the body. More right hand to the body from Graham, but Housen's not giving up that Kimura attempt. Nice elbow coming down from Graham. Wow. He got out of that and let it be known that he wasn't happy about that. And now he's on
Graham
his
went
back.
for a leg lock, which 9 times out of 10 is a no-no in mixed martial arts, because when you miss that leg lock attempt like you saw there, you go right to your back and you give up that dominant position.
That's first round action between Nate Housen and Mike Graham. Let's go back to the second round of this welterweight battle inside the cage, MCC 31. Here we go.
All right, another touch of gloves. It looks like Mike Graham's holding his hands a little bit higher than he had him in the first round. I noticed that he was dropping his hands quite a bit. There he came in with a knee, and for his efforts, caught one right to the chin.
Both men throwing some heavy punches. Wow. Nice front kick. Body kick. They're taking punches. Nice hammer fist from the top.
Until he fell, Housen was doing a really good job of timing Mike Graham when he came in to throw that kick. He noticed that Graham was dropping his hands and he would throw the overhand and catch him coming into it. Now he's on his back going to lock up an armbar.
Now, what does Housen need to do from this position to secure that armbar and possibly end this well? It's too late now. Both hands are out.
Yeah, it was too late now, but what he needs to do is he needs to get his hips high, or he needs to pull Graham in tighter to him. You don't want to give him that wiggle room, and that's exactly what he gave Mike Graham in order for Mike Graham to get out of that armbar. But essentially that's the trick to land in the armbar, quick and tight, and definitely want to commit.
Looks like he's going after another armbar right there. Can Housen pull it off? That is the question.
It's not very deep. Housen really wants to get that crotch up underneath the armpit, so you really have the elbow in a locked out position. When it's riding so low like that, there's a lot of room. If Graham really pulls up and pulls the arm out, it's going to slip out every time.
And now Graham with some hammer fists from the top and some punches. Looks like he's trying to take the back of Housen. Or maybe not. Softening it up with elbows to the legs, and those are going to sting. And now he's got his back trying to get that right hook in. He gets another hook in. Housen's in trouble.
And Housen moving a lot slower than he did in the first round. It could be a sign of being tired, and it's hard to say.
It sure is. We have much more action coming our way on MCC 31. Let's go back to the end of the fight.
Your winner, 2 minutes and 4 seconds in round number 1 by rear naked choke, Mike Lion Graham.
Welcome back. It's MCC 31 Full Force. Marcus McIntosh with Hurricane John Halverson. You've seen a lot of action thus far, but you know what? It is far from over. We're going to another bout, right, John?
That's right. This one is in the welterweight division as well. Starting out first with Leo Villarreal, 5'8", 170-pound freestyle fighter with a 2-2 professional mixed martial arts record. He's taken on Jeff Karstens, 5'10", 170-pound freestyle fighter with an 8-20 professional mixed martial arts record.
I know you hear the record. I hear the record of Jeff Karstens at 8-20, but he's been in most of the bouts he's been in. They haven't been pushovers for the most part for him.
And he's taken fights with a lot of tough guys. He's fought outside of his weight class. He fought a lot when he was a lot younger and more inexperienced without the training that he has right now.
Leo Villarreal in the white shorts, Jeff Karstens in the dark shorts. Both men kind of filling each other out at this point. Not a whole lot of action thus far in the first round of this bout. Nice leg kick by Villarreal. Nice leg kick by Karstens.
And the one thing that we've noticed recently with Karstens is he's become a lot more of a patient fighter. He's not making those mistakes. It could be that he's learned from the 20 losses that he's had in his career. And the last time that he was in MCC, he fought Maurice Spears, who's an outstanding striker. And Karstens was able to basically just stall him out, frustrate him, light him up with leg kicks, and win a unanimous decision.
And now he's trying those leg kicks, or a high kick right there from Karstens. But you mentioned in a previous fight this evening that one of the men was standing tall. Looks like Karstens had times was trying to get lower to Leo Villarreal's level.
Yeah, exactly. Villarreal has some wrestling in his background as well, and prefers to ground and pound his opponents rather than stand and bang. And so that's exactly what Carstens wants to avoid, is being put on his back. Carstens is employing more of a counterpuncher role in this particular fight. He's lighting Leo up with some leg kicks when he has that opportunity. But other than that, you see he's just kind of baiting him in right now. He's keeping those hands high, and there you just saw he said, come on. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to bait Villarreal in and counterpunch off whatever he gives him, whether it be a kick or a punch.
An experienced fighter's not going to fall for that, correct? For the most part?
Not normally, no. But, once you get in there, oftentimes game plans go out the window. And especially, when you're in there with a guy who's taunting you, saying, hey, come on, bring it. That patience is like, okay, I'll get patience here later, but let me sock this dude right in the mouth here first.
Nice body kick by Villarreal. Partially blocked by Carstens. Some wild punches in the exchange, too. Both men appear to be taking their time. No one really rushing anything.
Both fighters kind of pawing at each other with that jab. And there you see again Carstens just kind of using that, lowering his center of gravity and kind of lurking back left and right, just trying to get Villarreal to react to what he's doing.
Nice leg kick by Villarreal, but it was blocked by Carstens. Carstens or checked rather by Carstens. Almost in the center of the cage. Villarreal backs off just a little bit to regroup.
It seems, like I said earlier, Carstens is taking on the role of the counterpuncher, Villarreal more of the aggressor. But with that being said, if you're the aggressor, you need to put together a series of punches and not just a one kick or a one punch, because if that's the case, you're going to get time and you're going to get counterpunched on every occasion.
And we saw just moments ago a kick by Carstens was caught by Villarreal, and Carstens put on his back, but he's able to scramble back to his feet where you see the men right now. Nice left hand by Villarreal. Didn't connect, but came close.
And Carstens moving back and forth from conventional to southpaw, back to conventional again, which is kind of showing his development and his diversity as a fighter.
Nice kick and left hand, followed by Carstens, put Villarreal on his back, but Carstens didn't seem to pounce right there.
No, like I said, Carstens has become very patient, and a lot of people say that makes for a boring fight, but it also shows that the fighter can employ a game plan and not get overzealous and not make those mistakes, especially mistakes Carstens may have made as a less experienced fighter.
You see Villarreal has Carstens on his back. Wild punches there. Carstens with the legs out, ready to kick up, ready to do up kicks or kick at the legs.
And this is where Leo needs to get busy right here, because he had him in a decent position. He's got him on his back, pressed up against the fence, and he's kind of standing there, as the round ends, just kind of kicking at his legs, not as the round ends, as the referee steps in to break him up because of the lack of action. But he needs to get on him. He had him in the best possible position that he could have had him in this round. Now he went for a desperate takedown and was basically shucked off, was olayed into the fence by Carstens.
And there we have the end of the first round. A lot of good action in that first round, John.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff Carstens using a great game plan to stall out and counterpunch Leo Villarreal. We'll see if it happens in the second round, but it's time for Villarreal to get busy.
All right, let's see if he can get busy in round two. Here we go. Jeff Carstens and Leo Villarreal. Leo in the white shorts, Carstens in the black shorts. Both men starting out again kind of cautious as they start off the first round. Second of three scheduled rounds. Carstens trying to bait Villarreal in again. But he gets low. Wild punches by Villarreal. Wild punch by Carstens, but he paid for it with a left hand to the chin. And both men are like, okay, okay.
Yeah, that was a great punch. Great counter punch by Leo Villarreal. But, again, he didn't capitalize on that. He stood back and admired his pretty work. and gave Carstens time to stand back and, again, give him the, come on, let's get this.
Maybe the time to admire it is after the referee stops it, I would imagine.
Exactly. After your opponent's laying on the ground, the referee standing over him, and the doctor coming in to give him smelling salts, that's when you admire your pretty work.
Yeah. And you look at the monitors trying to check out how well your punch was. Wild left hand by Carstens.
Check your hair, say hi to your mom and your girl.
All right, we're still in the second round of the welterweight battle between Leo Villarreal and Jeff Carstens. Villarreal in white, Carstens wearing black. Moving back and being cautious.
Carstens moved back into the southpaw stance.
As you're fighting someone in the cage with someone and they switch back from conventional to southpaw, does that really affect an opponent?
Not necessarily. I don't think so. It just kind of depends. Anymore in the gym, there's a pretty good mixture of southpaws and conventional, so you've kind of got a taste of what you're up against with every fighter. So, for a lot of guys, it's not really going to throw off their game plan. A lot of times, guys, when they move from southpaw to conventional, I don't think it's in this case, but a lot of times it's because a leg could be hurt.
Okay.
Some of the guys have switched up if they've broken a hand. Again, I don't think it's the case in this particular fight, but and some guys just don't ever switch it up. They're content with either being a southpaw or being conventional, and they're not going to change.
All right, we saw a wild exchange by both men. Wild punches there by Villarreal, but he has Carstens pinned up against the cage. Nice knee by Carstens coming off the cage. Wild left hand, but it connected. It popped Leo Villarreal on the jaw, it looked like. Looks like he's complaining he got poked in the eye. And the wild punch by Carstens ends with Carstens on his back.
And again, this is exactly where Villarreal needs to get busy.
Ooh, nice up kick.
Nice up kick, and he needs to watch those. But he's got Carstens on his back and pinned up against the fence, providing he can stay out of a submission attempt. He can
his hooks in there.
He can throw down some punches and try to get some of those points back. Now, right here, he's got the back of Carstens, has Carstens flattened out, and this is the most dominant position that we saw from Leo Villarreal thus far in the fight. He really needs to capitalize on that.
Trying to sink in that rhythm. Oh, nice reversal by Carstens. Wow.
And that's got to be frustrating for him as well. Went from the most dominant position in the fight to a poor position on his back with Jeff Carstens on top.
Few light right hands to the face of Villarreal from Carstens. Carstens on top of the black shorts, Villarreal on the bottom in the white shorts. Looks like Carstens is trying to take Villarreal's back to that rear naked choke right there. That looks like he's trying to sink it in. He can't get that right hook in there, and there you get the tap right there. Wow. And then he shoots him down. That's when you admire your work right there.
And there's admiring the pretty work. Good work from Jeff Carstens.
So Carstens went from being in a position of almost being submitted by Villarreal in a rear naked choke to reversing it and submitting Villarreal with a rear naked choke.
That's how fast it happens. That's why this is the greatest sport in the universe. There's so many ways to win, so many ways to lose, and you see it all right here at MCC.
Don't blink, MCC 31 full force. We have more action coming your way. Let's see the call this in the fight. The action is fast and furious here at MCC 31 full force. I'm Marcus McIntosh with Hurricane John Halverson. John, let's not waste any time. Let's get to our next bout.
Next bout is in the lightweight division with the man making his MCC debut, Josh Marker, a 5'8", 155-pound wrestler with a 5-3 mixed martial arts record, taking on Alex Harper, 5'11", 155-pound Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner with an identical 5-3 record.
First round, here we go. Looks like...
And wasting no time taking the fight to the ground was the wrestler, Josh Marker, putting Alex Harper in one of his favorite positions on his back, a training partner of TJ the Spider O'Brien. Harper also favors triangles, arm bars, and he's got the long legs to do it.
So you know if he trains with TJ, he definitely knows how to throw up a triangle choke. If those legs go up in the air, you know you're, you called it.
And what did we say right there? The triangle attempt by Alex Harper, and it looks like it's locked in pretty tight.
It sure does.
This is not looking good for Josh Marker.
No, it's not. And there's a
And
tap
there
right
it is,
there.
the tap.
Wow.
That was fast, furious,
Yes.
and tight, and there was no getting out of that one. A protege of the Spider O'Brien. Props to Alex Harper for making his mentor proud with that textbook triangle.
If you blinked, you missed it. A quick triangle choke right there. Let's go back to the ring to watch the call to the end of this battle.
Gentlemen, your winner, 49 seconds in round number 1. By triangle choke, Alex Harper!
Welcome back, MCC 31. Full force of the action, fast and furious. Don't blink, you might miss something. So, John, let's get to our next bout.
This one, a battle of the brawlers in the lightweight division, starting with Jeremy Castro, 5'8", a 155-pound striker with a 9-7 professional record, taking on Hollywood. Johnny Case, 5'10", 155 striker with a 9-2 professional record.
And Hollywood always entertaining in the cage. There you see him. Hollywood in the black shorts and Jeremy Castro in the white shorts. Hollywood in those short shorts. Going definitely Hollywood on for the shorts this evening, John. Ooh, nice knee by Jeremy Castro. A knee back by Hollywood. Both men kind of, looks like Castro tried to take him down, and that didn't work out the way he planned, John.
Castro pulled guard and caught a hammer fist to the temple for his efforts. Now on top, Johnny Hollywood Case, and laying some vicious
Those elbows.
silver
wow.
screen elbows
Yes.
on that same temple of Jeremy Castro.
Those are going to sting. Nice punches from underneath from Hollywood Case. Looks like he's trying to lock in.
A guillotine. And Castro up. The one thing about both of these guys, why this is such an incredible matchup, if fight fans have ever seen either one of these guys fight,
Whoa, nice takedown.
there's no quit in them. I mean, you've got to beat these guys to beat these guys. They're going to get cut, they're going to get bruised, they're going to get banged up, but they're going to keep fighting on. And again, that's why this matchup is so good. You just never know what's going to happen, but you do know that it's going to be a good fight.
That's right. Johnny Hollywood Case on his back. Castro on top. Castro had some nice elbows to the body. Another nice left elbow from Jeremy Castro right there.
And a reversal from Case,
He
and
gets back up.
he gets back to his feet, but Castro
Hanging on.
hanging on.
Does not want to let go that good. And looks
And a takedown by Castro,
him back on the
immediately
ground.
moved into side control.
So Johnny Hollywood Case has that left knee up. That's to prevent Castro from slipping his left leg over to mount him, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and he gets back in the ground right there. Case on his back with Castro on top. And full guard, nice left elbow from Jeremy Castro right there. Is it just me or does Case look really at ease right there?
Yeah, he trained hard, and that's exactly why you see a lot of these guys. They're on their back, and you're watching on TV, and you're like, man, should that guy be panicking? He's on his back. This guy's getting ready to punch him
I'd
in
be
the face.
panicking.
But again, I said it earlier. These guys have put themselves in that position. They've trained for that. If you're not getting whipped up on in practice, your training partners are not doing you justice. You have to be put time and time again in the worst possible positions. Positions like this, up against the cage with fresh guys coming in, trying to keep you down, hold you down, punch, submit you. And you've got to learn to defend against that. You've got to learn to be comfortable in those bad positions. Because when you make a mistake, you expose yourself, and you're either going to get punched or you're going to get submitted.
All right, Johnny Hollywood Case. It looks like he's trying to work his way back to his feet. Jeremy Castro still on top. Nice punches there. Now he's trying to lock in. Looked like he tried to swing a triangle. The Case still squirming on his back. Castro still on top trying to punch. A lot of action going on in this round. First round action with Jeremy Castro and Johnny Case.
And Case doing a good job from his back, staying active. You see that he's in closed guard now, but he'll let that go and he'll shimmy his hips just like he's doing there. And what he's looking for, Marcus, is he's looking for a sweep. he's looking for Castro to react. And if he gets that opportunity, he's going to throw those legs up and either go for an armbar or a triangle.
Let's see what Johnny Case does. He's trying to score him out of there again. Castro still throwing those vicious left elbows. Definitely have to be careful of those. Castro still working, and then the sweep you talked about, John, right there.
Exactly. He waited for Jeremy Castro to react, and as soon as he felt him get light on that right leg, he immediately went for the sweep. Castro going for a sweep of his own. He has the butterfly hooks in right there,
Okay.
which is a great position for somebody who's either looking to get back to their feet or looking for a sweep themselves.
And Castro holding Case pretty close, and now both men, well, at least Case is back up to his feet. Castro's got a hold of that leg. Does not appear to want to let that leg go. Up and over.
Dumped Case temporarily, and now Case on top.
Nice hammer fist by Case.
A lot of action in the first round from both these guys. This is an exciting fight, and it's very close to this point.
And that is the end of the first round. Wow, Johnny Case was laying it on him at the end of the round there, John.
And it looks like he bloodied Castro up a little
He
bit.
did.
Like I said, a lot of action in the first round. Very even going to the judges. They've got their work cut out for
They
them
sure
if it
do.
goes 3 rounds like this.
All right, so let's check out round 2 action between Jeremy Castro and Johnny Hollywood Case. Castro in the white shorts, Hollywood Case in the black shorts. Castro a little blooded because at the end of the first round, he took a couple punches in the face from Johnny Case. Here they go, round 2 action.
We talked about it earlier, but Castro bloodied, bruised up. That's not going to affect him in the least. You know, we've seen him in there before, kind of in the same position. Oh, that one
that
is
was a
not
knee.
going to
Wow.
feel good. Beautifully timed knee from Johnny
was.
Case, and caught him right in that spot that he
And he's got his
opened.
hooks in right there, and an arm pin too. Wow.
That's probably the worst position you could be in the sport of mixed martial arts, and that is all she wrote.
You see a big knot on the forehead of Jeremy Castro. That's from Johnny Case's knee. Then he got choked out with a rear naked choke. John, it ended quickly. Wow.
Great first round, but the second round, Case says, hey, they call me Hollywood for a reason, and I'm about to put this one in the highlight reel books.
That's
with
right.
a flying knee.
Hollywood really shined. We're back with much more on MCC 31 Full Force. Don't go anywhere. The action just gets better and better throughout the year. Welcome back, MCC 31 Full Force. I'm Marcus McIntosh with the Hurricane, John Halverson, and the action it's all over the place. It is fast, it is furious. So, John, let's not waste any time. It's a light heavyweight division matchup up next.
We've got Scott Bradley, who is making his MCC debut. He is a 5'10", 145-pound freestyle fighter with an 8-6 record, taking on the former champ, Will the Real Deal Shutt, 5'7", 145-pound freestyle fighter with a 13-12 record. And Marcus, I have a feeling this one is, as you said earlier, going to be fast and furious.
Don't blink it. I said light heavyweight. I meant featherweight. These men going at it. You have the men going on the ground right now. You have Will Shutt on top. And Will, the Thrill Shutt, is not wasting any time. But hey, he's got a tough man in there against him, Scott Bradley.
Talked to Will leading up to this fight. He's refocused, re-energized. He said he's going to get a belt back. He's thinking of dropping down to even lighter weight than 145 pounds. And he's coming in to make a statement against Scott Bradley.
And he's trying to get that arm. And he's got the arm, and there you have the tap.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Wow.
Will Shutt favors the Kimura. We've seen him win by that several times. That's his go-to move. And he definitely put it on young Scott Bradley and showed that he is back. He is dominant.
He is.
And he has improved his record with yet another win and one step closer to regaining the hardware around his waist.
And talk about dropping a weight class too, right?
He's talking about going down to 135 pounds, so it could get very interesting with all of the tough guys that are in the bantamweight division nowadays. Man, it's just getting better and better.
All right, I talked about it moments ago. A light heavyweight matchup coming up after the break. MCC 31, Full Force. Stay with us.
Double lasso.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your winner, 45 seconds in round number 1. By submission to the Kimura, Will the Real Deal
Welcome back, MCC 31 Full Force. John, I misspoke moments ago. Now we're up to a light heavyweight battle.
And this is the one that I've been most excited for, especially after the way the weigh-ins went down. In the light heavyweight division, first up, making his MCC debut, Jason McVeigh, a 5'10", 205-pound freestyle fighter with a 1-0 record, taking on Todd Schmaus, 5'11", 205-pound wrestler with an identical 1-0 professional record.
All right, no touch of gloves to start this battle. You see Schmaus in the flag shorts and McVeigh in the black shorts. So there was a little bit of tension and weigh-ins between these two, huh?
Just a little bit. When after they weighed in and squared up to get pictures taken, Jason McVeigh extended his hand to shake it. Todd Schmaus said, "No, dude, we're fighting tomorrow. I'll be punching you in the face, and I'll shake your hand after the fight's over tomorrow." So there was a little tension in the air. McVeigh took that as a sign of disrespect, and so that's why you saw at the beginning of the fight there. There was no touch of gloves. So no love lost here.
And you see Schmaus on top, raining down a right hand or two, but looks like McVeigh's trying to work a triangle there. Well, maybe not. Yep, back in the full guard, but Schmaus posturing up. Now back down into the full guard of McVeigh.
McVeigh's been working a lot on his submissions. He comes from a great gym in St. Louis, trains with Lance Benoist and a lot of other tough guys at the Vaghi School of Jiu-Jitsu. I would definitely look for him to keep throwing up submissions like that, and that was tight because he knows Todd Schmaus, the wrestler, is going to try to put him on his back. He knows he's going to end up there at some point in the fight. So watch Jason McVeigh and the submissions.
What's he going for here? Wow, he's going for a number of different things early on in this fight.
He's chaining his submissions together, and that's somebody you can tell that he comes from a legitimate training camp, a legitimate school that's jiu-jitsu based. Because, like a lot of fighters, you see they'll throw up an armbar attempt, and when they don't get it, they abandon that. But not McVeigh. He'll throw up an armbar attempt. Before he abandons that, he's going to switch that up to a triangle. If that's not working, he's going to go right back to the armbar. And they call it, that chain jiu-jitsu.
So it's one after the other, just trying to make
one right
something
after
fit
another.
and
You got to
lock
always
in.
think one move ahead.
Wild punch by McVeigh missed, but Schmaus making him pay. But missing there. Looping punches there. He doesn't seem like the traditional striker, kind of looping his punches. They're not short and straight and crisp, but they look powerful nonetheless.
I'm pretty sure that Schmaus trains knocking out horses, cows, other large farm animals. No, he's a brawler, Marcus. The last time he was fought in MCC, his win, he will forever be cemented in the highlight reel with a big one-punch knockout of the other Josh Henry, the other light heavyweight from Omaha, who also named Josh Henry, like our champ. But no, Schmaus is he's heavy-handed.
Yes,
he's got that wrestling base, but he prefers the definitive win, and that's by none other than knockout.
All right, looks like McVeigh's trying to get Schmaus onto his back. Not going. Both men kind of at a standstill here, and Schmaus back to his feet. He's in the flag-colored shorts with McVeigh in the black and red shorts. Schmaus on top. Not a whole lot of action at this point, but the men have been throwing some nasty punches thus far.
Yeah, they've kept a pretty fast pace throughout the majority of this round number one, and that makes you kind of wonder, especially with the amount of muscle that both of these guys are carrying around. Are they still going to be able to get after it like this if it does go into the second round, the third round? What kind of toll is this going to take on both of these guys?
Right now, Schmaus on top. McVeigh looks like he might be trying to work a submission. I can't really tell from here, but not a whole lot of punishment being delivered from Schmaus at this point.
It's pretty hard to throw anything up from this angle, just because Schmaus has him pinned up against the cage, and he's pretty tight to him. So there, McVeigh able to rotate his hips away from the fence, so he's giving himself a little more room, and he goes for the triangle attempt right there.
And Schmaus slams his way out of it.
And there he goes to lock up an arm.
As you mentioned, go triangle for the armbar, just one after the other.
And right back to the triangle.
Wow. He's giving a clinic. McVeigh is. He seems to be locking his legs around the arms of Schmaus as well. Is that typical of jiu-jitsu, guys?
Yeah, absolutely, especially in combat where you can get punched like this. If he can isolate an arm using his legs, then he's still got the use of both of his hands.
He had it triangle, but slipped out. Schmaus got his head out. Now he's on top of McVeigh. And it looks like that is the end of round one. It's a battle between Jason McVeigh and Todd Schmaus. Pretty good action the first round so far, John.
A lot of action for some light heavyweights. It was a good round, and it was a fairly even round. McVeigh looks like he's a little bloodied up, a little banged up, but nonetheless, he was the more active fighter from his back. I'm anxious to see what round number 2 brings.
All right, let's check it out. Round 2 action. We have the men inside the cage. This is the second round. Light heavyweight action. Jason McVeigh in the black and red shorts. Todd Schmaus in the flag-colored shorts. Not a whole lot of movement from Schmaus, just kind of circling, following what McVeigh's doing. Schmaus holding his hands kind of low there.
Yeah, he's definitely, at this point, he's looking for that one-hitter quitter.
He sure is. Just throwing those punches, hands very low. But if he connects, it is going to be trouble. Wild punches there. McVeigh takes Schmaus back to the cage. Looks like McVeigh has a hold of both legs and takes Schmaus down. Looks like he's trying to take his back here. I can't really tell. Nice punches to the face from McVeigh from underneath. Schmaus might not think about blocking those or doing something else. Now both men standing again. Schmaus looking to the side. It's like, I would pounce on that. I mean, the referee doesn't break it up.
He took a deep breath right there and took a look at the clock to see how much time was left in the second round. But hey, buddy, it's still early in the second round. Get them hands up.
As an opponent, I'd probably have jumped on him right there. But maybe McVeigh is just as tired as Schmaus is. Wild punches by McVeigh. And he keeps coming forward. Schmaus going for a takedown right there. Nice knee to the head from McVeigh.
Schmaus really kind of looping those punches around at this point. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but with both these guys keeping that pace in the first round, this is exactly what I thought would happen where the action
would nice uppercut.
Slow. Wow, big uppercut by Schmaus.
This could be trouble.
And those are some jackhammers right there. Those aren't punches, Marcus. Those are jackhammers.
Looks like he's going to stop at any minute now, and there it is. The end of this battle, this bout. It was a light heavyweight battle. Todd Schmaus taking it to Jason McVeigh, hitting him with some punches. McVeigh goes to the ground and Schmaus pounds him out. Now, John, I think instead of doing a regular, raise a hand to see the end of this fight, we're going to do a little bit something different, aren't we?
Let's take a look.
Everything I put you through, cutting weight. You mean the world to me, and I'll do anything for you. And I just want to know for a minute.
Welcome back. It's MCC 31 Full Force. Marcus McIntosh with the Hurricane, John Halverson. And John, this next bout is featuring a huge fan favorite.
That's right. It's our own version of Captain America. Eric Irvin, 5'8", 170 pounds, a 2-0 freestyle fighter, taking on the man, the myth, the legend, Ronnie, the War Frog Britt, 5'9", 170 pound, 14-3 with a Froggy style. Froggy style, and we're gonna see if exactly what Froggy style is.
You see Ronnie he was pretty low there. Ronnie's wearing black and white shorts, it looks like, and his opponent wearing black, white, and red. His opponent being Eric Irvin. Ronnie with the long hair, Irvin with the short hair. Here they go. And missed with the left hand by Irvin. Bouncing away, as Froggy style would dictate. Oh, nice right hand by Irvin. A nice inside leg kick by Irvin.
Now we had a chance to talk to Ronnie before the bout, and most of Ronnie's fights, I think pretty much about all of his 14 wins have come by way of submission. He's got an excellent ground game. He said that he wanted to keep this fight standing. He wanted to show fight fans that he has strikes in his arsenal, and he said he's going to keep the fight standing as long as he can. So this could be interesting because I think that Eric Irvin is content to keep the fight standing.
Is that oftentimes a mistake when somebody's trying to prove something to other people instead of sticking with what got you there and what made you successful?
Sometimes it is. I know that Ronnie's been in the game for a long time, and he's trained everything, but obviously his bread and butter is his grounding, his submissions. He spent some time over in Thailand training Muay Thai. He's done a lot of boxing. I've had the opportunity to do a lot of sparring with Ronnie, and the thing about Ronnie is what he lacks in experience and power with striking. He's very unorthodox. He's hard to hit, and he comes from very odd angles with his strikes. So he throws a lot of people out.
Look at Irvin go. Ronnie was getting stung there in the corner, and he's still getting stung. He still has his wits because he's trying to block those knees and moving around, but Irvin is relentless over there. Wow.
I don't know about the frog he's coming, Marcus, but you better hop on out of that position because that's not working for him. He's
oh man, maybe Ronnie should take him down. I think this would be the point where you say, well, this is not my bread and butter. Let's get to the bread and butter.
Should we start working the corner? Do you want me to start yelling? Go to the ground.
Oh, Irvin threw a nice elbow, man. Yeah, but it's going to take a lot more than that to put the War Frog out. Definitely a fan favorite. And initial wild right hand. Now Ronnie saying, hey, I can punch too, buddy.
Dirty boxing by Ronnie Britt. Grabbed the back of that head and look at him go.
Yes. I guess Ronnie was tired of getting hit. He wanted to show Irvin he could hit back as well. Oh, man.
Now Britt grabbing the head. Now this is his go-to move. This is his favorite move, the guillotine right there.
And that's why, because it's over.
And it was tight. Ronnie was definitely getting his chin tested in that fight.
He took a lot of punishment. You saw him trying to move around, but he took punishment in that fight. That young guy, Irvin, kind of gave it to him, but Ronnie got him in his old favorite move.
Absolutely. Ronnie was getting the business, but proved that he could still get business taken care of inside the cage with a big win with his signature move, the guillotine.
We're back with more on MCC 31, Full Force. Stick around. There you see Ronnie Britt hand raised in victory. First round. Welcome back to MCC 31 Full Force. You just watched the War Frog battle back to a first round submission victory. And John, we just keep moving on, don't we?
This time in the light heavyweight division. Starting out first, Blake Brexspriker making his UCC debut. He's a 6'3", 200-pound submission fighter with a 3-1 record, taking on Jesse Lund, 6'2", 205 freestyle fighter with an 8-2 professional mixed martial arts record.
And I saw Jesse before this fight, before he came in to get dressed and everything. He said he was expecting a knockout. So let's see if Jesse can make those words come true. Jesse in the black shorts and his opponent, Brexspriker, in the white shorts. So they look to be white shorts and black trim. Nice leg kick by Jesse Lund. Both men with their hands relatively low. Nice leg kick. Kind of wobbled his opponent right there. Nice move by Jesse Lund. Brexspriker not going anywhere as he tries to take Jesse Lund down and ends up with Lund almost taking his back.
Lund riding a little high, looks to get shucked off, and
he did.
Lund,
now his Lund's back. Wow. How quickly things turn, John. He's got both hooks in now. This is never good, am I correct?
Well, it's a more favorable position than Lund being flat on his stomach with stretched out, taking punches to the side of the head. The one thing, though, that Jesse Lund is known for and why he's such a fan favorite and has such a huge following is because of that never give up attitude. 9 times out of 10, we see Lund just get the brakes beat off him and come back, a come from behind victory, and everybody loves to see that.
Yes, they do. That's why he's so popular with the fans. A lot of people screaming out the name Jesse Lund, wearing his t-shirts. And he's worked, looks like, I thought Brett Spiker had his arm was trying to do something with it, but Jesse Lund brings that left arm back into his body. Brett Spiker looks like he has a body lock on.
He has the figure 4 body lock, and that's a tough one because it's not an easy position to roll out of.
And it makes it, for your opponent, when someone has that on you, it's hard to breathe. It takes your wind away, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it does. And if he arches his back up, that really makes it uncomfortable.
Let's see if Jesse Lund can get out of it. Brett Spiker raining down punches from the top, going underneath. Jesse Lund still hanging in there. Brett Spiker has that figure 4 leg lock, body lock on him, and man, that looks like it hurts.
The one thing about that position, Marcus, is you don't have to use a whole lot of energy to keep that locked in. Lund's not going to get him to move. He's not going to shut him off. And he doesn't, different than just having your hooks in. You get your hooks in, and you've got to maintain control. This right here with the figure 4, he basically just has to keep his leg locked in there in figure 4, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Lund to shake him off.
Can't tell what he's trying to do right there, but Brett Spiker not going anywhere, has that body lock on there, not going anywhere. Jesse Lund trying to hold down the arms of Brett Spiker to avoid getting any more punishment delivered his way.
And Lund doing a good job of fending off the submission attempt and the punches, anything that's really going to take his total damage-wise. But from a judge's standpoint, he's going to be down on the heart.
How do you get out of a position like this? That's my question. Does Lund just have to is he kind of hoping for a mistake for the end of the round? What
he needs to do is he needs to roll Brett Spiker, but not that way. He needs to roll him the opposite way, just like that, where his foot's pressed against the mat, and he can work from there. He can actually get his own leg over, trap it across the front of Brett Spiker's leg, and get a leg lock out of the deal. But he's right back into that same position that he spent most of the first round in.
Brett Spiker with some nice hammer fists from the top position. Still has that body lock on there. Wow. Jesse Lund trying to hold those arms down to keep him getting punched. Nice punches from the left hand from the top from Brett Spiker. Can't really tell, but for the most part, it looks like Jesse Lund is not taking a whole lot of punishment in terms of punches. But that body lock has got to be playing a toll on him.
He's bearing the burden of the weight of Brett Spiker throughout the first round, and he's doing a good job of turtling up and keeping his hands close to his face. So again, he's not going to take a lot of punishment, but in a dominant position like this, the referee's not going to break the action either. He's not going to remove a guy from the back when he's staying active and going for submission attempts like Brett Spiker is. So it's a poor position for Lund, a good position for Brett Spiker, even though it's going to be pretty difficult for him to finish the fight from here. He's still winning on the judges' scorecards.
All right, that is round 1 in the books between Brett Spiker and Lund. A lot of action, John. Brett Spiker controlling most of the action from the top with that body lock.
Jesse Lund's going to have to come out in round number 2 with a vengeance and get the points back. Let's see if he can do it.
All right, round 2 action. Jesse Lund and Brett Spiker hitting the cage, shaking hands, touching the gloves to start round 2. I think that Jesse Lund kind of pawing the left hand for Jesse Lund. Followed by a right. Wild elbow attempt by Lund. Wild punches right there.
Yeah, and Lund's swinging for the fences now. He knows that he's down from the first round, and he's trying to make a statement. They're a kick, and Brett Spiker looks like he's a little bit tired. He's really cringing at some of those punches. He either doesn't want to get hit, or he's hurt, or he's tired. There he's got the schoolyard headlock and gets tossed to the ground like a sack of potatoes.
And then Lund takes his back. I guess he's like, well, you had my back most of the first round. Let's switch this up.
My turn. My turn. Now it's time to get busy. Lund's got him where he wants him. He needs to keep him flat like that, posture up, and do exactly what he's doing, getting some power bombs in there on the side of the head of Brett Spiker.
And the referee at this point, is he telling the guys, look, the guy on the bottom, look, you better get busy, or I'm going to end this or stop this? Do the referees do things like that? And there you see he tapped out.
Absolutely. He gives the guys plenty of warning.
Yes, he did. He's looking for the cameras. Gotta love the way to end the fight like that, John. Wow. Pretty good action to end that fight.
Impressive come behind win from Jesse Lund, who moves one step closer to a title shot with that win.
All right, we're back with much more on MCC 31 Full Force. Stick around. More action coming your way.
By 10 pounds due to strikes, Jesse Lund!
Welcome back, MCC 31 Full Force. I'm Marcus McIntosh with the Hurricane John Halverson. And John, we are now up to our co-main event, the first of 2 championship fights.
And the bantamweight belt is on the line. The first ever MCC bantamweight championship. And who better than to kick it off, Bill Camry and Zach Laird. Let's take a look at Camry first, a 5'6", 135-pound striker with an impressive 9-1 record, taking on Zach Laird, 5'9", 135-pound Muay Thai practitioner with a perfect 4-0 professional record.
All right, let's get to first round action. There you see the man in the ring, touching gloves to start it off. There you see Zach Laird. He has on the shorter shorts, black shorts. Camry has on the longer black shorts. Camry's hands like a piston into the body of Zach Laird early on.
Golden Gloves champion, Bill Camry, taking on one of the toughest, most, anything exciting. You can just, there's
so many adjectives you can use.
There's so many adjectives to describe Zach Laird. He's so impressive. He just keeps getting better and better. All of his wins by stoppage. He's fought some tough guys. He's fought wrestlers. He's fought strikers. He's fought.
Nice body punch by.
He's fought a bevy of mixed martial artists, and he's always come out on top.
He is a tough young man, and Camry, Golden Gloves boxer. Don't know if I want to stand in front of him too long.
Interestingly enough, these guys are also former teammates, former training partners. And the rumor has it back in the day that in the room, Camry used to get the better of Laird. So Camry was a little surprised when Laird accepted the fight, but Laird's been training like a madman, kind of going around to a couple different gyms, trying to get a look at everything. And he's a Muay Thai practitioner, but a lot of people don't know he's got a wrestling base. And he's been working a lot on his submission. So, despite both the guys being bangers in there, I wouldn't be surprised to see a submission.
All right, Zach Laird, he is definitely a tough young man. Very exciting. He had Bill Camry up. Bill Camry was trying to put a hold on him, let it go. Now Laird has Camry pressed up against the cage, trying to work those hands free. Trying to prove to Bill Camry that was then, this is now. You're not going to beat me tonight. We'll see what happens. These young men, very, very talented young fighters in the ring right now. Very talented mixed martial artists. Nice knee to the body from Bill Camry pressed up against the cage. Trying to pin that left hand of Zach Laird. Nice knee to the body by Zach Laird. Both men standing right now. Bill Camry in the longer black shorts, Zach Laird in the shorter black shorts. Leg kick, or body kick rather, caught by Bill Camry. Both men go to the ground. Laird scrambles up quickly. Camry has a hold of that.
Laird with excellent takedown defense, although he is on his back right there. But you can see he's popping right up to get back to his feet.
Bill Camry right on him too. Nice knee to the head from Bill Camry. And Bill Camry goes for another takedown. Can Laird stop the takedown right here is the key? No. Bill Camry puts him down, but as you mentioned earlier, John, Laird's scrambling right back up.
Yeah, he pops right back up. He uses his wrestling in reverse, Marcus. A lot like UFC legend Chuck Liddell. He has a wrestling base too, but he's become a kickboxer, and he uses that wrestling base to stay on his feet. And that's exactly what Laird's doing right here.
It looks like Camry's I can't tell if he's going for a choke, but it's quickly pushed off by Zach Laird. Now Laird pressed up against the cage, Camry leaning into him. I gotta ask, facial hair that close, when the guys are rubbing each other, rubbing on their shoulders and everything, does that get irritating at some point?
I would assume that it would probably be irritating, kind of like having, Ronnie Britt on top of you, punching you with his hair whipping you at the same time. Yeah, that would probably get a little annoying.
Oh, Camry almost, he came close to getting into a full mount position on Zach Laird. Now both men standing again. Laird trying to block those knees that are coming up from Bill Camry. Camry relentless though, not letting go. Apparently working for another takedown and rubbing that facial hair against Zach Laird. I thought he might want to buy him dinner first, but that's just me.
A smile on the face of Bill Camry. I think he heard
me. And he looked at me, winked, and said, "I'm next."
You may get some facial hair rubbed against you yet, Marcus.
Dream come true.
And both guys are very content to stay in the clinch game. You notice that Camry really pulling down.
Oh, whoa, what is this?
That looks tight.
Oh, my God. How quick was that?
And I called it. I told you. Do not blink. Laird's been working on the submissions. And that was crazy. Flying armbar. Flying armbar. And hey, if you're going to win a title, what better way to win it than a flying armbar?
Wow. Zach Laird, the bantamweight champion at MCC. MCC 31 continues. We have our co-main event, our other main event up next. One more championship fight. Don't go anywhere.
All right, MCC fans, your winner, 4 minutes and 53 seconds, is round number 1. MCC Bantamweight Champion, Zach the Maniac Laird.
All right, as we said earlier, the action is fast and furious. A great ending to the first championship fight tonight, John.
Absolutely. A beautiful flying armbar, and congratulations to the new bantamweight champ, Zach the Maniac Laird.
And you know what? We have one more fight coming your way, another championship fight. This time, Josh Bam Bam Henry's in the cage.
And he's defending his belt against none other than Rick the Gladiator Glenn. Let's get right to it. First off, the challenger, Rick Glenn, 5'10", 145-pound freestyle fighter with a 5-2 record. He is taking on the champ, Josh Henry, 5'6", 145-pound freestyle fighter with a 5-2 record as well.
Let's get right into the cages, to the action. Josh Henry, the shorter man, both men wearing black shorts. Rick Glenn with the dark hair. Josh Henry with Glenn pressed up against the cage, taking Glenn down with a double leg right there. Working to get to a more dominant position, John.
And another fight where there's definitely no love lost between these two guys. A lot of smack talk, if you will, back and forth over the last few weeks. Rick Glenn on several occasions made it known, hey, Josh Henry's the champ, but he's also a stepping stone. I'm going to come in there, I'm going to whoop him, I'm going to take his belt, and then I'm going to wait for the big show to call me. Josh Henry didn't like that. He had some choice words, which we won't say.
I can imagine.
Although this is cable, it's not that kind of cable.
That's the 4-letter words out there.
But he let it be known that he wasn't happy about that, and says, it's just talk. When the cage door closes, it's just going to be me beating you up, so I don't care what you say.
And right now, Josh Henry in a pretty good position in full guard with Rick Glenn. Rick Glenn doing a good job deflecting most of the punches, but it looks like he has a hold of an arm on Josh Henry. Let's try to sink in. This isn't a good position for Josh Henry to be in right now.
Glenn's going for a triangle. And it's not a great position. It's not locked in yet, but it's not a position. There he moves to an armbar, and that looks tight.
Yes, it does. That looks very tight.
Hard.
And I didn't see a tap right there. I think Josh Henry's saying the same thing. I didn't tap.
It looked like it the referee may have viewed that as a verbal tap. We may have to take another look, but it looked like Josh Henry kind of screamed out in pain, and the ref took that as a sign that he was tapping out verbally. It's sometimes it's hard to tell when you're in there. The armbar looks like it was very tight. Here we'll have another look at it. Rick Glenn is in the triangle position, switches his hips, gets an armbar, and it looks tight. He switches him over, and if you see Josh Henry, you can see that he kind of yelled out. The referee immediately stopped it, and then he protested right away. So somewhat of a controversial ending, an ending nonetheless.
Right.
And Rick Glenn is the new champion.
All right, but you know what that means? Because of that controversial ending, John, MCC 32 taking place on Saturday, March 5th at Hy-Vee Hall. Bad blood. You know why it's bad blood? Because those
rematch.
Oh, man. Rick Glenn and Josh Henry going at it. This time, Rick Glenn's a champion. Josh Henry's a challenger. And we'll see what happens. This is going to be another battle between these two. And hopefully, there will be no controversial ending this time.
Yeah, I think this this fight is two top-notch featherweight fighters, and you hate to see it end controversial like it did. A win's a win, but I'm sure that Rick Glenn, he's probably not happy with that. He trained his butt off. He wants to win legitimately. He wants to win without any doubt, whether it's a knockout, whether it's a submission, whatever it is. And at MCC 32 Bad Blood, I hope we get to see that, and I hope you get to see that when you join us.
All right, MCC 32 taking place Saturday, March 5th at Hy-Vee Hall. Bad Blood, don't miss it.